The sunlight pouring into Adana's room felt unusually harsh that morning. Her phone wouldn't stop vibrating on the bedside table. Half asleep, she reached for it and froze. Dozens of notifications flooded her screen. Adana Okoye spotted in romantic embrace with household staff. Heiress and laundry boy. Rooftop scandal. Billionaire's daughter caught in forbidden love. Her blood ran cold. She clicked one and there was the photo. Emmanuel's arms wrapped protectively around her. Her head tilted up towards him under the moonlight. It looked intimate. Too intimate. She sat up sharply, her heart pounding in her ears. Her mother's voice thundered from downstairs. Adana! Emmanuel was nowhere in sight. The thought of him seeing the chaos made her stomach twist. This wasn't just gossip. This could ruin her reputation, her family's name, and worse, give Chuka all the ammunition he needed. By the time she came down, her mother was already pacing the marble floor, phone in hand. "What is this nonsense?" she barked, waving the screen in Adana's face. "Is this why you refused Chuka? To embarrass me with help?" Adana swallowed, trying to keep her voice steady. "It's not what it looks like." "Oh. Then what is it?" her mother snapped. "Because the world thinks my daughter is having an affair with a laundry boy." Her mother didn't wait for an answer. She turned to the head housekeeper. "Suspend him. I don't want him stepping foot in this house until further notice." Adana's heart lurched. Emmanuel. Gone from the mansion. She opened her mouth to protest, but one look at her mother's glare silenced her. As the door closed behind him later that day, Emmanuel glanced up at her window. Their eyes met briefly. His full of quiet hurt, hers full of something she couldn't name. And in that moment, Adana realized something dangerous. She didn't just want him back in the house. She wanted him back in her arms. For 3 days, the house felt emptier. Adana busied herself with meetings and charity events, but every time she walked past the laundry room, her chest tightened. She told herself it was for the best, that the scandal would blow over faster if she kept her distance. But at night, her mind betrayed her, replaying the way Emmanuel's hands had felt on her waist that night on the rooftop. The warmth in his eyes. The quiet strength in his touch. Then came the text. Unknown number. "You think this is over? Wait and see." Her fingers trembled. She didn't need a name to know it was from Chuka. The next evening, as she left a dinner event, she spotted a figure leaning against the shadows near the gate. Broad shoulders, familiar posture. "Manuel. You shouldn't be here," she whispered, glancing around for paparazzi. "I had to see you," he said quietly, stepping closer. "I can't just disappear like I never existed in your life." She looked up at him, torn between fear and relief. "It's dangerous, Emmanuel. If anyone sees us, let them," he murmured. "They've already painted me as the villain. I'd rather be the villain in their story than a ghost in yours." Her breath caught. Before she could respond, a pair of headlights flashed, and a black SUV slowed as it passed. She didn't see the driver's face, but she knew. Chuka was watching. And in that moment she understood. The rooftop photo was only the beginning. The real war for her heart had just started. By afternoon the mansion felt like a courtroom. Maids whispering, security doubled at the gate. Her mother on calls with image consultants, who sounded more like executioners. Chioma slipped into Adana's study and shut the door. I traced the rooftop photo. Adana's pulse kicked. "Tell me. It didn't come from our CCTV. That camera was offline for maintenance." She tapped her tablet. "Shot angle matches a penthouse across the street, leased last week by a shell company called ANO Ventures. Beep. Chuka's family's initials. Same lawyer they use." Heat flared up Adana's spine. "So he set the trap and waited." Chioma nodded. "And he's pushing the blogs. I've seen 3 influencer accounts posting from the same PR email." Before Adana could answer, her phone buzzed. "Manuel, someone just met me outside the estate. Offered cash to leave Lagos and sign an NDA. Said it's for my safety." She felt the floor tilt. Adana. Whose messenger? Manuel, didn't say. Black SUV. Same type Chuka drives. Adana stared out at the city, jaw tight. Shame for dragging Emmanuel into this war tangled with a fierce, protective anger. You didn't start this, but you're going to finish it, she told herself. Chioma, I need the pool house cleared. No staff, no cameras, no eyes. 1 hour. Done. He came at dusk, cap low, hoodie up. The moment the pool house door clicked shut behind him, the act fell off. His shoulders sagged, the tired lines around his eyes finally visible. They tried to buy me off, he said, voice rough. Like I'm a stain you can scrub out. She moved closer, slow, careful. You're not a stain. You're the only thing in this house that feels real. He huffed a humorless laugh. Real gets people like me fired. Or worse. She swallowed. I'm getting you reinstated. Your mother won't allow it. Then I won't ask. Her chin lifted. I'll hire you myself. Title, salary, apartment off property. Personal assistant. You answer to me. No one else. His eyes searched hers. This makes it louder, not quieter. I'm done hiding. Her voice softened. Unless you want to go. Long beat. He stepped into her space, close enough for her breath to catch. I wanted to leave the first day I carried your laundry upstairs, he murmured. Because I knew if I stayed I'd fall. Her hand rose, trembling, and he caught it, fingers warm, certain. The kiss they shared wasn't reckless like the rooftop. It was steady, chosen, a promise made in the eye of a storm. They broke apart when Chioma's ringtone sliced the hush. Adana answered. Bad and worse, Chioma said. Bad. Chuka's people leaked a voice note, spliced to make Emmanuel sound like he's bragging about owning you. We can challenge it, it's edited. Worse. A petition just hit your mother's circle. Protect our daughters. Dressed up as morality, really a blacklist. They're demanding Emmanuel be barred from all Okoye properties. Adana's grip tightened around the phone. Let them sign their names. I want a list. Emmanuel's brow furrowed. Ada. She shook her head. No more running. We fight with sunlight. How? Choma asked. We buy the penthouse across the street. We pull the lease docs, the payment trail, and the PR emails. We don't whine about privacy. We expose the ambush. Choma exhaled. On it. Adana hung up and faced him. They turned us into a scandal. We turned them into a case study. A knock rattled the pool house door. They froze. Open up, a male voice barked. House security. Adana squared her shoulders, already in battle mode. Emmanuel glanced at the side exit. She shook her head once. Stand behind me, she whispered. If this is a trap, we spring it on our terms. She unlatched the door. 2 guards stood there. And behind them, smiling like a man who'd already written the ending, was Chuka. Good evening, Adana, he purred. His gaze slid past her to Emmanuel. I came to deliver terms. Adana didn't blink. So did I. The air crackled. And for the first time, Chuka's smile faltered. War officially began. Adana had spent the whole morning pacing her office, her phone buzzing with notifications she dared not open. She knew the rooftop picture was still somewhere out there, floating in the shadows of gossip blogs, waiting for the right moment to destroy her. Emmanuel, however, moved through the house as though nothing had changed, folding towels, pressing her silk blouses, his quiet presence somehow calming and irritating all at once. By afternoon, her mother called again. Chuka has invited you to dinner tonight, Mama said in that commanding tone that left no room for excuses. I want you to go. The rumors are already circling. Let people see you two together, and they'll believe nothing happened. Adana's first instinct was to refuse, but Mama's next words froze her. If you don't show up, I'll assume the gossip is true. And you know how quickly I can make life unbearable. That evening, she dressed in a deep red gown. Not for Chuka, but because she knew Emmanuel would see her before she left. When she stepped into the living room, he was bent over the ironing board. His sleeves rolled up, the faint scent of fresh linen wrapping around her. Their eyes met. "You look different," he murmured, his voice low. "It's called dressing for a dinner I don't want to attend," she replied sharply, but her pulse betrayed her. Dinner with Chuka was exactly as she expected. Him bragging about his latest business trip. His expensive watch catching the light every time he lifted his glass. But halfway through the meal he leaned forward, his smile too smooth. "I know about you and the laundry boy," Chuka said quietly. His words sharp enough to slice through the restaurant's soft music. "And when the right time comes, everyone else will too." Adana's fork froze midair. That night, back home, Emmanuel was waiting in the kitchen. "How was dinner?" he asked, searching her face. She hesitated. It was a warning. But before she could explain, her phone buzzed again. And this time the notification wasn't from a gossip blog. It was from an unknown number. Attached was a clearer, closer photo of her and Emmanuel on the rooftop, and a message that read, "Tomorrow, 8 a.m., pay or it goes public." Adana didn't sleep that night. She lay in bed staring at the dark ceiling, the glow of her phone on the nightstand like an accusation. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the rooftop, Emmanuel's hand in hers, the way the city lights painted their faces. And now, someone else had that moment trapped in pixels, waiting to ruin her. By dawn, she had already made coffee she didn't drink, changed clothes twice, and paced her bedroom floor until her heels ached. At exactly 7:50 a.m., she was sitting in her car outside a dimly lit roadside cafe waiting. The blackmailer had chosen the meeting spot. Emmanuel wasn't supposed to know, but somehow he was there, leaning casually against a parked motorbike across the street, pretending to scroll his phone. She shot him a glare, but he didn't move. At 8:03, a man slipped into the seat across from her. Slim build, dark glasses, cap pulled low. "You have what I want?" Dana asked. He smirked. "That depends. Do you have what I want?" She slid an envelope across the table. 50 crisp 1,000 naira notes. He opened it, counted quickly, then leaned back. "You're smart, but not smart enough." Before she could react, Emmanuel appeared behind him, his hand gripping the man's shoulder. "Drop the phone." Emmanuel's voice was low, dangerous. The man laughed. "Oh, so the laundry boy plays bodyguard now? Cute. Tell your boss the truth, lover boy. Tell her who sent me." Adana's breath caught. "Who?" The man tilted his head. "Her fiancé." Her stomach flipped. "Chuka. Ask him why he wanted the photo to leak," the man sneered. "Ask him what he gets when your family name collapses." By the time she looked back, Emmanuel had shoved the man's phone into his pocket, but the blackmailer was already gone, slipping into the crowd. For the first time in weeks, Adana felt something more dangerous than fear, rage. "Emmanuel," she said through clenched teeth, "pack a bag. We're going to war." Adana had never been to Emmanuel's neighborhood before. The narrow streets, the scent of frying akara in the air, the laughter of children playing barefoot. It was a different world from her gated estate. But Emmanuel's small, neat apartment was where they planned their counterattack. He cleared his only table, set his laptop down, and powered it on. Adana blinked. "You have a laptop." He gave her a faint smirk. "You think I just iron clothes?" Before life happened, I used to be in IT. Data recovery, hacking, the works. She raised an eyebrow. "So my laundry boy is an undercover tech wizard?" "I told you, Adana," he said, leaning closer. "You never really asked who I was before you judged me." He plugged in the blackmailer's phone and started typing. Within minutes, he had access to every deleted file, call log, and message. Then he turned the screen toward her. Her chest tightened. There it was, a message thread between Chuka and the blackmailer. Payment receipts, instructions, even voice notes. One of them made her blood boil. Chuka's voice mocking. "Leak it the day before the board meeting. She'll be too humiliated to fight me for her father's company. I'll take over, and the scandal will bury her." Emmanuel's eyes hardened. "We can destroy him with this. Or Or what? She asked. We can make him confess himself. Publicly. In a way he can't take back. Adana leaned forward. And how do we do that? He smiled, slow, dangerous. We give him exactly what he thinks he wants, and turn it into his downfall. By nightfall the plan was set. Adana would lure Chuka to the rooftop where everything began, pretending to negotiate. Emmanuel would be hidden, streaming every word to key board members and the press. But as she drove home to prepare, one thought burned in her chest. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about finally trusting the man she once thought was beneath her. To save everything she had. The night air on the rooftop was sharp, scented with a faint tang of rain. Adana stood near the edge, her black silk dress rippling like a dark flame in the wind. She had chosen the dress deliberately. Enough allure to keep Chuka's guard down, but cut sharp enough to remind him she was still a threat. Chuka arrived, smug as ever. His designer suit catching the dim city lights. Adana, my dear. Finally ready to surrender. His voice was laced with mockery, as if he already owned her fate. She smiled faintly. Depends. Are you ready to negotiate like a gentleman? He took a slow step closer, his eyes sliding over her in a way that made her skin crawl. You mean, forget the little video if you hand over your shares. You know that's the smart move. Hidden in the shadows, Emmanuel adjusted the tiny camera on his lapel, sending the live feed directly to the board members and a popular online news blog. Every word was being recorded, every arrogant smirk. Adana tilted her head. And what if I refuse? Chuka laughed. Then tomorrow your name will be mud. Your father's legacy will rot. And I'll be running the company while you hide from the world. The wind picked up, whipping her hair across her face. She glanced briefly toward Emmanuel's hiding spot, the signal. It was time to push him further. She stepped closer, close enough for him to smell her perfume. Chuka, why did you really do it? Was it the company, or was it because I turned you down? Something in his expression shifted. Pride, anger, and something darker. You think you could embarrass me and walk away? I built your image from the shadows, Adana. You're me. And if you can't love me, you'll fear me. The words were perfect, damning enough to seal his fate. Emmanuel's fingers flew over the controls, making sure every word was crystal clear in the recording. But then, from the corner of her eye, Adana caught movement. Another man stepped out of the darkness behind Emmanuel, one of Chuka's men. The glint of a metal pipe caught the rooftop light. Before she could speak, there was a sharp crack, the sound of the pipe hitting Emmanuel's back. He staggered forward, his camera clattering to the ground. Chuka's smirk widened as Emmanuel fell. Oh, you thought you were the only one with a plan, my dear. Adana's heart slammed against her ribs. The trap had just turned into a rescue mission. Adana's hands trembled as she scrolled through her phone, reading the headlines again and again. Billionaire heiress caught in rooftop romance with her help. The leaked pictures were everywhere. On gossip blogs, news sites, even trending on Twitter. The image of her leaning into Emmanuel's chest under the night sky was now public property. Her phone wouldn't stop ringing, her mother, her PR manager, even Chuka. She ignored them all. Emmanuel, on the other hand, sat quietly on the far end of the living room sofa, his eyes fixed on the floor. He'd been silent since the news broke, as though waiting for the hammer to fall. When her mother finally walked in without knocking, the tension in the room tripled. Adana, what have you done? Mama's voice was sharp but laced with worry. Do you have any idea how this looks? Chuka is furious. The board members are furious. I don't care about the board or Chuka, Adana snapped, her voice cracking. I love him, Mama. She gestured toward Emmanuel. And I'm not going to throw that away because the world can't handle it. Mama's gaze shifted to Emmanuel, scanning him like he was an item at auction. Do you have any idea what you've dragged my daughter into? You're a laundry boy, for heaven's sake. This scandal could ruin her. For the first time that morning, Emmanuel spoke. His voice was low but steady. With all due respect, Ma, I didn't drag her into anything. We fell for each other. And I'd rather face the world's judgment than walk away from her. Adana's mother turned sharply to her daughter. Then you'd better be ready. Chuka has already called a press conference for tomorrow. He says he's going to tell the world the truth. Adana froze. What truth? But Mama wouldn't answer. She simply left the room, heels clicking on the marble floor. Emmanuel came to her side, his touch grounding her. Whatever he's planning, we'll face it together. She wanted to believe him. But deep down, a sick feeling told her that whatever Chuka had up his sleeve was about to change everything, and not in their favor. The conference hall was already packed when Adana and Emmanuel arrived. Cameras flashed in their faces, journalists shouted questions, and security struggled to keep order. Chuka stood at the podium, a smug smile plastered on his face. He was dressed in his usual expensive suit, radiating arrogance. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, "you've all seen the scandalous pictures. But what you haven't heard is the real story." Adana's heart pounded. Emmanuel's hand gripped hers. Chuka gestured to the side, and a large screen lit up with images, not of the rooftop, but of Emmanuel, standing beside a sleek black SUV, opening the door for an elderly woman. The picture looked harmless, but Chuka's voice dripped with venom. "This man you see here," Chuka sneered, "is not some innocent laundry boy. He's been living a lie. His real name is Emmanuel Okoro, the illegitimate son of my late father." "That's right. He's my half-brother." Gasps filled the room. Adana's stomach twisted violently. "That's not true," she whispered, turning to Emmanuel. But Emmanuel's eyes told her it was. "I didn't know until recently," Emmanuel said softly, his voice breaking. "I never meant to hide it from you. My mother told me the truth only after I started working here. I thought, if you knew, you'd see me differently." The journalists erupted with questions, cameras flashing like lightning. Chuka smirked, leaning into the microphone. "So, you see, this is more than scandal. It's a disgrace. My father's bastard seducing my fiancée. I won't allow it. He's been fired, and I expect him to leave this city by tomorrow." Adana stepped forward, her voice ringing through the chaos. "You don't get to decide who I love, Chuka. You never did." She grabbed Emmanuel's hand. "Half-brother or not, it changes nothing. We're not related by blood, and I will not let your hate destroy us." For a moment the hall went silent. Chuka's smugness faltered. Then Emmanuel turned to the cameras. "You can write whatever you want. I'm not ashamed of where I come from. I love her, and I'm not going anywhere." The room exploded into noise, but Adana didn't hear it. She pulled Emmanuel close, kissing him right there in front of the world. In that instant the noise faded, the flashing lights dimmed, and all that remained was the man she had chosen, against scandal, against family politics, against the odds. And as they walked out hand in hand, Adana knew one thing. This was only the beginning of their fight, but it was a fight they'd face together.